People don't always admit it, but Sigma males make others uneasy, sometimes even fearful. It's not because they're loud, aggressive, or controlling, but because their quiet strength, independence, and refusal to conform break the rules most people live by. A Sigma doesn't chase approval, doesn't play games, and doesn't need to be validated. And that unsettles people who rely on control, attention, and social hierarchies to feel powerful. In this video, we're diving into the 12 reasons why people secretly fear Sigma males. From the way silence becomes their weapon, to how they thrive in solitude, to their brutal ability to walk away without looking back, you'll see why Sigmas don't just live differently, they intimidate without even trying. Make sure you watch until the end, because the last reason is the harshest truth of all. And it explains why, once a Sigma leaves, people regret underestimating him forever. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel reveals the mindset most people can't handle. Their independence can't be controlled. One of the most intimidating traits of a Sigma male is his unshakable independence. While most people naturally lean on others for validation, approval, or even direction, the Sigma operates on a completely different frequency. His worth doesn't come from applause, titles, or fitting neatly into someone else's hierarchy. It comes from within. This level of self-reliance unsettles people because it strips away the usual methods of influence. Compliments, guilt, flattery, or even pressure tactics that work on most men fall flat against him. What truly makes this independence powerful is that it isn't about rebellion for its own sake. It's not a performance or an act of defiance. It's a way of life. Sigma males are perfectly comfortable walking their path alone, and this terrifies people who are dependent on the crowd for identity. When a man doesn't need constant approval, he becomes impossible to manipulate, and that lack of control frustrates those who thrive on power dynamics. This is why Sigmas are often misread as cold, arrogant, or distant. The reality is, they simply don't tether their decisions or their self-worth to external expectations. They'll walk away from jobs, relationships, or social groups the moment those environments demand conformity at the cost of authenticity. To many, this looks dangerous because it's so rare. And here lies the brutal truth. Independence is Sigma armor. It's what keeps them untouchable in a world where control is currency. That's why people secretly fear them, because they can't be controlled. Silence is their most unnerving weapon. When most people feel challenged, they respond with noise, arguments, explanations, or emotional outbursts. A Sigma male doesn't. His greatest response is silence, and that's exactly what makes it so unsettling. In a world addicted to constant communication, his quiet presence feels heavy, almost confrontational, without him saying a single word. His silence isn't passive, it's deliberate. By withholding words, he forces people to sit with their own discomfort, guilt, or insecurities. Those who rely on manipulation, mind games, or emotional pressure quickly realize they've lost control, because silence can't be argued with. There are no words to twist, no reactions to exploit. It's a psychological mirror that makes others confront themselves. What unnerves people most is that Sigma silence doesn't signal weakness or avoidance. It's strength. It shows he isn't desperate to prove a point, win approval, or engage in pointless conflict. His lack of reaction becomes the ultimate form of control, turning the tables without effort. In fact, many don't realize how powerful his silence is until they're the ones replaying conversations in their head, haunted by everything he didn't say. To manipulators and fake people, Sigma silence feels like punishment. To those who try to dominate him, it feels like defeat. And to women who misread it, It creates an almost magnetic pull of curiosity and respect. That's why people secretly fear it, because silence, in the hands of a Sigma male, isn't emptiness. It's power sharpened into a weapon. They walk away without looking back. One of the most intimidating traits of a Sigma male is his ability to walk away without hesitation, without drama, and without regret. For most people, walking away feels like loss. They linger, they wonder, they replay every moment in their mind. But for a Sigma, once the decision is made, the chapter is closed. There's no chasing, no desperate need for closure, no looking over the shoulder. That finality is what terrifies people the most. When others expect explanations or reconciliation, a Sigma male gives nothing but silence. His departure is the message. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. He knows when a relationship, a friendship, or even a situation no longer serves his growth or respects his values. And instead of clinging to what's familiar, he cuts ties cleanly, leaving people stunned by how absolute his exit feels. To those left behind, the absence is deafening. They realize too late that his presence was rare, his loyalty was deep, and his energy wasn't something easily replaced. That's when regret sets in, because unlike others, he doesn't circle back or give second chances. Walking away isn't a tactic for him. It's survival, a declaration that his self-worth is untouchable. The truth is, people secretly fear this Sigma trait because it strips them of control. There's nothing more unsettling than someone who can love deeply but detach instantly when disrespected. When a Sigma walks away, it isn't just an ending. It's permanent proof that he never needed anyone to begin with. They don't play social hierarchies. In a world obsessed with status, ranking, and proving superiority, Sigma males stand apart because they simply refuse to play the game. They don't chase titles, they don't need to be the loudest voice in the room, and they don't measure their worth by where they stand in society's invisible ladder. This refusal is precisely what unsettles people, because most are trapped in the hierarchy and can't imagine someone thriving without it. While alphas fight for dominance and betas seek approval, Sigmas operate outside the system. They don't care if they're first, last, or somewhere in between. Their focus is inward, building skills, strengthening their mindset, and creating a life on their own terms. This indifference to recognition strips others of the usual tools they use to manipulate: flattery, peer pressure, or social ranking. None of it works on a Sigma because he doesn't seek validation from a crowd. What makes this even more intimidating is how effective it is. By ignoring the social ladder, Sigmas often end up ahead without trying. People follow them not because they demanded authority, but because they radiate self-sufficiency and quiet power. It's influence without effort, respect without begging, and leadership without claiming the throne. People secretly fear this because it exposes the fragile foundations of their own status games. While they're busy competing, a Sigma male proves that the only real power is not needing the competition at all. That's why he can't be boxed in or controlled. They see through manipulation instantly. One of the most unnerving qualities of a Sigma male is his ability to detect manipulation almost the moment it begins. While many people get trapped in guilt trips, fake flattery, or subtle emotional tricks, Sigmas observe carefully and spot the hidden motives behind the words. Their sharp intuition combined with an analytical mindset makes it nearly impossible for manipulators to succeed. A narcissist might try love bombing, a colleague might use peer pressure, or someone close might play the victim card. Most people would get drawn in without realizing it, but not a Sigma. He notices the inconsistencies, the exaggerated tone, the subtle push toward control, and quietly calls it out with his actions, not his words. By refusing to play along, he disarms manipulators before their game even begins. What makes this so intimidating is that Sigmas don't usually expose manipulators directly. Instead, they let them unravel on their own. Their silence, detachment, and refusal to engage leaves the manipulator confused and powerless, unable to figure out why their usual tactics don't work. And when the manipulator finally realizes they've been seen through, the Sigma has already moved on, untouched. People secretly fear this because manipulation is often their greatest weapon. But in the presence of a Sigma male, that weapon is useless. He doesn't just resist control, he makes manipulators confront the emptiness of their own tactics. And that quiet strength is what makes him one of the hardest people to deceive. They value depth over small talk. One of the reasons people secretly fear Sigma males is their complete disinterest in surface-level interactions. While most people use small talk as a social lubricant, discussing the weather, gossip, or trivial updates, Sigmas see it as draining and meaningless. They don't waste energy pretending to be interested in empty conversations. Instead, they seek depth. If a discussion doesn't challenge their mind, reveal genuine emotion, or connect on a real level, they quietly disengage. This preference unsettles many because small talk is often where people hide. It's a way to avoid vulnerability, to cover insecurities, or to maintain appearances. But with the Sigma, that shield doesn't work. His silence in shallow conversations feels like judgment, even if he isn't judging. And when he does speak, his questions or insights often cut through the surface and push people into uncomfortable honesty. Women, colleagues, and even friends sometimes mistake this for arrogance or coldness. In reality, it's just focus. Sigmas value their time and energy, and they refuse to waste either on conversations that don't matter. This is why people often feel exposed or uneasy around them. They can't hide behind small talk or charm. People fear this because depth forces truth. A Sigma male's presence naturally shifts interactions into something more real, and not everyone is prepared for that. In a world addicted to distraction and superficiality, his demand for authenticity is both intimidating and unforgettable. They don't chase or beg. One of the harshest truths about Sigma males, and the reason people secretly fear them, is that they don't chase or beg for anyone's attention, approval, or love. In a world where most relationships are built on games of pursuit, where one person pulls away to see if the other will run after them, Sigmas refuse to play. If someone pulls back, they don't run forward. If someone withholds affection, they don't plead for it. Instead, they step aside and let the distance remain. This behavior unsettles people, especially women who are used to men proving themselves, begging for chances, or trying to win them back. With a Sigma, the opposite happens. His refusal to chase forces others to confront their own value. Did they really think he needed them to validate his worth? Did they assume walking away would break him? The truth stings when they realize he doesn't crumble. He simply continues thriving. The Sigmas. Chasing equals weakness, begging equals surrendering control. They know their self-worth doesn't depend on external approval, so they're not afraid of being alone. That kind of strength is intimidating because it highlights how dependent most people are on constant validation. And this is why losing a Sigma often becomes a source of regret. His silence in the face of rejection or distance isn't just absence, it's power. By not chasing, he shows that he was never the one who needed them in the first place. Their standards are unshakable. What unsettles people most about Sigma males is not just their independence or silence, it's their uncompromising standards. Unlike many who bend their values to fit in, to be liked, or to keep a relationship, Sigmas stand firm. If something doesn't align with their principles, they won't tolerate it. If someone crosses a line, forgiveness might come, but respect is gone, and if a relationship, job, or friendship no longer meets their standards of honesty, loyalty, or authenticity, they'll walk away without hesitation. This terrifies people who expect others to bend under pressure. Fake friends, manipulated partners, or even authority figures often believe that persistence or emotional leverage can change someone's boundaries. With Sigmas, that tactic fails miserably. Their standards are not negotiable. They are part of who they are. That refusal to compromise leaves others exposed because it highlights how easily most people abandon their own values for convenience or approval. Women in particular often regret underestimating this trait. At first, a Sigma's high standards may seem intimidating or too much, but once he's gone, they realize those very standards were what made him rare. He wasn't just another man willing to settle. He was someone who demanded real depth, real respect, and real authenticity. And here's the irony. People only see the true weight of his standards after he's gone. By then, it's too late. A Sigma doesn't lower his bar to let people back in. He simply moves on, leaving others wondering why they couldn't rise to meet it. They stay calm in chaos. One of the most unsettling traits of Sigma males is their ability to remain composed when everything around them is falling apart. While most people panic, lash out, or scramble for control during moments of crisis, Sigmas operate with a calmness that feels almost unnatural. They don't allow emotions to cloud their judgment. Instead, they slow things down internally, analyze the situation, and act with quiet precision. This unnerves people because chaos often reveals who someone truly is. For many, pressure strips away the mask of control and exposes fear, insecurity, or incompetence. But with Sigma males, it does the opposite. Pressure seems to sharpen them, bringing out their most focused, calculating side. It's why they're often underestimated in calm times, but admired or even feared when the storm hits. Fake friends, manipulators, or rivals often expect Sigmas to crack under pressure. When they don't, it creates discomfort. That calm, unreadable presence feels like an advantage others can't match. In relationships too, women often realize too late that a Sigma's steady composure is rare compared to the drama and chaos many men fall into. The real power of this calmness is that it makes people reveal themselves. While others panic, the Sigma stays quiet and observant, catching every slip-up, every inconsistency, every emotional outburst. In the end, it's not just about surviving chaos, it's about mastering it. And that quiet mastery is what makes people fear losing control around a Sigma male. They outgrow people without guilt. For most people, the idea of leaving someone behind, whether a friend, a partner, or even family, comes with guilt, hesitation, and second-guessing. But Sigma males approach this differently. They understand that growth often requires shedding relationships that no longer align with who they are becoming. When they outgrow someone, they don't feel the need to apologize or explain. They simply move forward. This unnerves people, because society conditions us to cling to relationships even when they've run their course. Most people stay in toxic friendships, stagnant partnerships, or one-sided bonds out of obligation or fear of being judged. But Sigma males refuse to play by that script. For them, holding on to someone who drags them down or refuses to grow is more harmful than walking away. The lack of guilt shocks people the most. While others wrestle with what-ifs, the Sigma has already made peace with the decision. They don't see it as cruelty, but as survival. And when they move on, they do so with complete focus on their own path. This leaves those left behind feeling replaced, irrelevant, or powerless to pull them back. The truth is, Sigmas don't outgrow people out of arrogance. They do it because their journey demands it. They evolve relentlessly. And anyone who refuses to evolve with them gets left in the past. That level of unapologetic growth is rare, And it's exactly why people secretly fear being cut off by a Sigma male. Their success is silent, not announced. In a world where people broadcast every small achievement for likes and validation, Sigma males take the opposite approach. They don't announce their moves, they don't chase applause, and they don't seek recognition along the way. Instead, they work quietly, building piece by piece in the background until one day their success is undeniable. By the time others realize what they've accomplished, it's already too late to question, stop, or compete with them. This silence around their achievements unsettles people because it removes predictability. Most individuals are used to tracking someone's progress through what they share: promotions, relationships, purchases, or milestones. Sigmas deny others that visibility. They thrive in the shadows, unveiling results only when they're solid and unshakable. That unpredictability creates both fear and respect. For fake friends, manipulators, or even rivals, this is deeply frustrating. They can't measure, sabotage, or compete with something they can't see. And when the Sigma finally reveals success, it often feels like it came out of nowhere, when in reality, it was years in the making. What people fear most about this silent success is the contrasted highlights. While others waste time showing off, the Sigma was building. While others sought validation, the Sigma sought progress. And when the results appear, they stand as living proof that real power doesn't need noise. Silent success isn't just strength, it's dominance. Be from unpredictable when betrayed. Most people follow a pattern when they're hurt. Some argue, some plead, others lash out. But Sigma males break that pattern entirely. When betrayed, they don't give warnings, explanations, or second chances. Instead, they respond in ways no one can predict. And that unpredictability is what people secretly fear the most. A Sigma might walk away without a word, cutting ties so suddenly that the other person never gets closure. Or he might go silent, watching and observing, letting the betrayer reveal even more of their hand before making his move. In some cases, his revenge isn't loud at all. It's success, growth, and transformation that leaves the betrayer haunted by what they lost. The point is, you'll never know how a Sigma will handle betrayal until it happens. This unpredictability comes from his independence and emotional control. He doesn't operate on the same rules as everyone else. Where most people seek validation or reconciliation, the Sigma seeks peace, clarity, and power. That's why betrayal doesn't just hurt him. It triggers a response that's impossible to anticipate or control. And here lies the fear. Betraying a Sigma doesn't just end the connection, it creates uncertainty. Will he disappear? Will he silently outgrow you? Or will his next move make you realize you've underestimated him all along? One thing is certain. Once betrayed, the Sigma never sees you the same way again, and his response will always leave a lasting impact. And there you have it, 12 reasons why people secretly fear Sigma males, even if they'll never admit it out loud. It's not just the silence, the independence, or the boundaries. It's the fact that Sigma males live by rules most people can't even understand. They can't be controlled, they can't be manipulated, and once you betray them, there's no going back. This is why people fear them, not because Sigmas seek power, but because their power comes from within. They don't need approval, they don't beg for validation, and they thrive even when the world doubts them. Now here's the question for you. Which one of these Sigma traits do you respect the most, and which one do you secretly fear? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. If this video gave you insight into this Sigma mindset, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful breakdowns, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Because trust me, the Sigma psychology runs even deeper than you think.